When submarines began to be put into practical use before World War I, most gentlemen from the UK were dismissive. In 1901, a British Royal Navy admiral even condemned submarines as despicable weapons. Despite these opinions, during the First World War, German U-boats almost suffocated the British sea lanes. In contrast to these gentlemen, some people still recognized the value of submarines in war. In 1915, the UK proposed the idea of a cruiser submarine, planning to create a large submarine capable of long-range voyages. It would not only provide escort to merchant ships but also accompany the main fleet on long-range voyages, and even have certain naval artillery firepower to engage in low-intensity gun battles. The X-1 cruiser submarine was the result of this concept. Unlike other cruiser submarines, the design and construction of the X-1 began after the end of World War I, so it was influenced in several ways. First, in terms of technology, Britain acquired the technology of the German U-139 large ocean-going submarine during the war. This was a large submarine equipped with two 150mm deck guns. Combined with Britain's own industrial conditions, the X-1 cruiser submarine's technology was not a problem. Another factor that influenced the X-1 was the Washington Naval Treaty. Although Britain advocated for the complete abolition of submarines at the time, it was unanimously opposed. Fortunately, the treaty did not impose any restrictions on submarines, so the X-1 was able to be produced and commissioned smoothly. Construction of the X-1 cruiser submarine began at the end of 1921. At that time, it was indeed a giant in the submarine world. It had a surface displacement of 2,820 tons, a submerged displacement of 3,700 tons, a length of 110.8 meters, and a draft of 4.6 meters. It used a 25mm thick pressure-resistant hull and was divided into 10 watertight compartments inside. The submarine was powered by two 8-cylinder diesel engines with a total output of 3,000 horsepower, and it also had two 1,200 horsepower diesel engines obtained from a U-boat as auxiliary power. It had a maximum surface speed of 19.5 knots, which allowed it to follow the main fleet on long-range voyages. When submerged, it was propelled by two 1,000 horsepower electric motors, powered by 3 sets of batteries weighing a total of 71 tons, and had a maximum underwater speed of 9 knots. The most distinctive feature was the submarine's armament. In addition to 6 conventional 530mm torpedo tubes with 6 spare torpedoes, it also had 2 twin 5.2-inch deck guns. Unlike the U-139, the X-1 did not have an enclosed gun turret but a semi-enclosed one, with a cylindrical structure reaching inside the submarine, storing 200 rounds of ammunition. These turret structures borrowed the rubber sealing technology from the U-139. In addition to the turrets, the U-139's retractable large optical equipment was also used on the X-1, with the fire control set in the middle of the conning tower. With a rangefinder of 2.9 meters, which could be raised 2.4 meters, and a maximum range of 15,000 meters for the guns, the U-139 was fully capable of participating in low-intensity gun battles. Originally designed to dive to a depth of 150 meters, it was later modified to about 100 meters. Its maximum range was 12,400 nautical miles at a speed of 12 knots on the surface and 50 nautical miles at a speed of 4 knots underwater. The X-1 was completed in 1925 and entered service at the end of the same year. In the 1920s, it was considered a top-secret weapon by the British. It not only operated in conjunction with the fleet but also provided escort for merchant ships. When encountering enemies, it could launch attacks underwater and engage in surface gun battles with small warships, making it an essential tool for home travel. To keep it secret, Britain spared no expense to block information, even buying up all leaked photos and other materials from the media. During the X-1's approximately 10-year service life, the overall evaluation by the officers and men of this submarine was good, especially for its excellent underwater maneuverability, although technical faults such as broken drive shafts occurred. The biggest complaint from the officers and men was the cramped interior space. Despite the large displacement of the submarine, it required at least 58 crew members to operate due to the large amount of equipment it had to accommodate. The turret ammunition depot, retractable optical equipment, and spare torpedoes severely occupied the interior space of the already cramped submarine. Most of the X-1's life was spent in the Mediterranean, and it had little activity after 1930. The submarine was scrapped in 1936, and in the 1930s, Britain gradually realized that the cruiser submarine was not a suitable concept, and submarines should not compete with cruisers for their role.